कोई जान हर सूं तेरे दूर. So this is the Nishan Sahib. Nishan translates into identity, marker, and since Gurdwaras were created, this would be the insignia, the signpost that people would see from miles away, that there will be a Gurdwara. What it is in Nishan Sahib, it's actually not a flagpole, but it's actually a lance, a huge lance with a double-edged top to it, and then like a trident insignia which marks our Sikh emblem, which we call the Khanda. A Gurdwara meaning a place of shelter, a place where someone can get a hot meal, a safe space, and for the Sikh community where they would be able to meet the Guru. Welcome to Newcastle Gurdwara, and upon entering the Gurdwara we always have a space where people take their shoes off. So on my left hand side we have for the male men, and on the sign it says Singhs, which means lions. And on the right hand side is where the ladies will take their shoes off, and on the sign it says Singhnia, which means lionesses. We have a place where to wash our hands, so everyone will take their shoes off, wash their hands, and if non-Sikh visitors will be asked to cover their heads. Everyone's asked to cover their heads, but if it's the first time someone's visiting, we have head coverings, all different styles and types. A very easy one is a bandana type. And the idea of covering the head is, we believe the Gurdwara, like any place of worship for Sikhs, is very sacred. And entering a sacred space, it's like giving respect to that space. And by covering their head, it's an act of humility and reverence in that way. In front of us, we have the Darbar Sahib, and Darbar translates into a court, a royal court, and that's where all the services take place, all the worship, all the congregation, when they come, they congregate, all the programs will take place in there. The other important part that makes the Gurdwara, the important part of the building, is the community kitchen, which is along there. And any Gurdwara around the world will be very similar, depending on the community that lives in the region, in the area. Gurdwaras are small and large, built accordingly to accommodate the community, but we'll have that same setup, somewhere where you take the shoes off, a darbar where the services take place, and a community kitchen. This is where the services take place, and people from 5 o'clock in the morning till late in the evening will come and pay their respects to see the Guru. And our Guru is our spiritual teacher, our spiritual guide. And people will come, walk down, and stand in front of the altar, the palanquin that's been created there. And each Sikh will have their own unique experience and relationship with the Guru. Some will stand for several minutes, some will put their hands together and bow their head. In each occasion, everyone will bow their head, and that is a sign of a Sikh being someone who is a student, bowing their head into receiving blessings to something that is greater than themselves. And some people will bring money, and there's a donation box, they'll put money into the donation box. Some people bring flowers that get put into vases. Some people bring other gifts. Some people just bring themselves. So it's entirely, again, it's everyone's own relationship, and there's no judgment on that. The Guru is very clear of never ever judging anyone. Judge ourselves, judge oneself. And sometimes in this room it's quiet, and people come and sit in that quiet space to be with their own thoughts and reflection and their own meditation and recitations they wish to do. Sometimes there's readings from the Guru Granth Sahib. Other times there's music being played from the stage on my left there. We can see some musical instruments. And people come and join in and be part of what we call Sangat, which is community, being part of community. And the way the Gurus taught us that if the presence of God is to be felt in anywhere, it's within community, when we're all together. So this is the palanquin. Then the Guru Granth Sahib is placed at the top, and it has a beautiful canopy around it. And again, just going back to the words Darbar Sahib, the royal court, and it's very much a royal court because for Sikhs, the Guru Granth Sahib is an emperor, empress, king. It's a master for us, and it's treated and looked upon as a living entity, a living form, with the wisdom and the divinity, the scriptures, everything that's been contained within it. And it's decorated. So in the eastern part of the world, if you would be a king or a queen, it would be very much the same. You would have your throne, and then you would have this canopy above. And it's a very similar tradition. And also something we call the Char Sahib, and this is waved above the Guru Granth Sahib. Whenever there's a service taking place or there's a prayer being done, it'll be waved above them. And again, a very common Eastern tradition of someone who's royal will have someone waving or fanning them. So this is the Guru's bedroom, the resting space. So this is where our Guru, our living scriptures are kept. So every morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, they're brought out of the resting space. Someone will carry the Guru Granth Sahib on their head, and behind they will have the Jar Sahib, the fly whisk, and there'll be a gathering of Sikhs in that crazy o'clock time in the early hours, and the Guru will be placed on the palanquin, and they'll be randomly opened up on a page. And whatever page they're opened up, the top left-hand poem is read out. And that is we call the Hukamnama. The Hukamnama is the instruction of the day. It's that direct communication from our spiritual guide, our spiritual teacher to the Sikhs. In Newcastle, in wider regions, sometimes people visiting from other towns, the Hukamnama will be written downstairs. They'll read that and they will enshrine that, they'll incorporate, take that into their day and follow those instructions. So it could be 100 people doing 100 different prayers, but there's this one message that will resonate and relate to everyone. They'll take something away, a word, a passage, a line that will relate to them, and that will manifest and blossom into their day by contemplating on that. And then in the evening time, 8 o'clock in the evening, the Guru is closed and they're wrapped up in all their beautiful materials, and again there's a little ceremony of bringing the Guru Granth Sahib back into the resting space. The language that's contained or spoken in the scriptures is called Gurmukhi, coming from the word Gur, meaning the Guru, Mukh being from the Guru's mouth, the words that were spoken from the Guru's mouth. And the Guru is given the reverence of this divine spiritual being, someone who is a reflection of God's energy, God's reflection, God's wisdom. And the reason why this language was created was because during the time of the Gurus there was a lot of division within communities and society due to something called a caste system. Someone who was born in a poor household wasn't allowed to go to a place of worship, wasn't allowed to be educated, wasn't allowed to go into how we would go into shops and into social circles. They were deprived of all this, and especially when it came to spirituality, they weren't allowed in temples and so forth. So he created, the second Guru created the alphabet in the Gurmukhi script, and it encompassed many different languages, from Sanskrit, Farsi, Persian, Hindi, Urdu, and many other languages as well. So a person will be able to relate from whatever region they were from, aspects of the poetry that's written within the Guru Granth Sahib. And the authors of the Guru Granth Sahib, of the scriptures and the wisdom that's contained in it, is 6 of the 10 Gurus, and also a lot of other Sufis and saints, some before Guru Nanak's time, where their experience was captured and compiled and created and put into the Sri Guru Granth Sahib at that time. And in front of the Guru Granth Sahib, also like any royal court or castle if we were to visit, would have weaponry. The word for weaponry in the Sikh tradition and the Dharmic traditions is Shastra. And the way Shastra are looked upon is very holy, very divine, very sacred. They are revered, given reverence when they're taken out of its sheath. It's bowed to. And in a way, we bow down to Shastras in a way that we would bow down to God, in that same form. They hold the presence of keeping justice and symbolize truth and protection. So Sikhs who have been initiated through we call the Amrit ceremony. So you'll see some Sikhs who will have beards and turbans, and some may not. And majority, 95-98% of the time, those who have beards and turbans are initiated Sikhs, for males, and for females as well. A lot of female initiated Sikhs will wear a turban as well. And in that initiation process, there's a discipline that comes where one takes a commitment to the teachings of the Guru and giving your life to serve humanity. So my son was 7 years old when he got initiated, and I was 26, my dad was 55. So there's no kind of age limit when one takes that step. It's like kind of a spiritual awakening or calling. With that comes the 5 Ks, which are part of the Sikh's uniform. The 5 items a Sikh keeps on their body at all time, all starting with the letter K. So Kes, we call hair Kes. We will not cut our hair. We will stay in the natural form that we are. The second of the 5 Ks is a Kanga, which is a wooden comb, and so different shapes and sizes. And the Kanga is made out of wood. So every morning, a Sikh has to get up between 2 and 6 in the morning, and start off with a bath or shower. It's written down to be cold water. Not everybody does it, but it's supposed to be cold water. Especially the challenge of doing it in cold water in the winter. That's the ultimate test. Anyway, afterwards we comb our hair twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. And the Kanga is placed in our top knot and then wrapped around with our turban. So the third K is an iron bracelet. And so if you ever see someone with a beard and turban and you're trying to work out if they're a Sikh or not, if you look at their wrist, they'll have what we call a kada, the third of the 5 Ks. And the kada symbolizes my kind of handcuff to the Guru, my wristband. You know, sometimes we get wristbands with slogans and things on representing organizations or causes. And this is my reminder every time I reach my hand out of the oath I've taken to be a good Sikh, to serve. And the other point is that it's a circle. and the circle symbolizes God. The way Guru explained that God is something that's self-created, is continuous, never ends, wasn't born, doesn't die, is eternal. This phenomena, this energy, this consciousness is self-existent, self-created. So a few things going on there. The fourth of the 5 Ks is a kashera, which I don't have to to show you, but it's a pair of long baggy undershorts. There you go. Yeah, and it has a drawstring at the top, and that is for modesty and chastity purposes. The fifth one, and sometimes raises some eyebrows, is the kirpan. Kirpa an, kirpa blessed, an responsibility, blessed responsibility. And the kirpan isn't as big as it used to be. Original size kirpan would be a full size kirpan. Yeah, and nowadays Sikhs, as times and things have become more civilized, we wear smaller kirpans. We still live in that same tradition, and again, it's a shastra. It's something that is an honor and such high discipline by being given this. And we believe Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Guru who created this initiation ceremony, blesses the Sikh with the kirpan, with the responsibility of protection. And it's part of the brotherhood and sisterhood we call the Khalsa. And it's part of the army of Akal Purkh, of the timeless one, of God. So there's a lot of big responsibility, big titles there. It's being a warrior and a saint. So getting up in the early hours every day, meditating for several hours is minimum 45 minutes to an hour. We have 5 readings we have to do. Then during the day is to have a meditative mindset, to chant the name of God, and we use a mantra to do that called Waheguru. Then it's taking time out after work or school to come and do community service, coming into the Gurdwara to give your time to serve the community by washing up, cutting vegetables, could be anything. Sikhs have been living in this country since the 1890s. I think the first Sikh was registered on the census 1890 something, and during that time we've never heard a story where a Sikh has misused the kirpan in all that time period. On a Saturday we have what we call Punjabi school. So Punjabi is a language that is spoken in the majority of all Sikhs. It's where Sikh faith, Sikh Dharma kind of first started. In Punjab, which is a region northwest in India. And Panj means 5, Ab means rivers, the land of 5 rivers. And on a Saturday we have a school that runs here from about 10 till 1 o'clock, and there's extracurricular stuff happens after 1 o'clock with music, if anybody wants to learn any musical instruments. But from 10 to 1 the language, reading, writing and speaking is taught, which we get about 120 students from 5 years old to most of the times it's 16, but we get quite a lot of adults as well. Sometimes first or second generation born in this country who've kind of lost in touch with their native tongue, want to start learning it again. So we have classes and that's where all that takes place down there. And also the benefit of this new Gurdwara since 2013 hasn't just benefited the Sikh community, but a lot of local organisations use the classrooms as well. Barnardo's, Discovery Museum, Newcastle City Council, interfaith groups, and lots of small organisations, and it's all free of charge. And it's really kind of helped the local community as well in Newcastle, especially being next to the city centre, to have access to those spaces as well. So this is our langar, we call it the langar hall, our community kitchen. And the main kind of concept that one is to learn, what the Gurus kind of tried to create, was an element we call seva, meaning selfless service. Doing something without any expectation or any reward for doing that act or deed. And everyone's encouraged to take time out their busy lives and commit to community service, doing community service. And there's a table over there on my right hand side where the bags of onions are. Normally that's full of vegetables, potatoes and all sorts of different things that need cutting, chopping, peeling, all that kind of stuff. And people, young and old, will come throughout the day and get involved in doing that. And that will be then stored in the back in the fridges. Some people come to help cook, prepare the food, and it's all volunteers that do this. Some people come throughout the day to help clean up, wash up. Some people will come and spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, just cleaning up the dishes, drying them. And it's really kind of getting the community together. And going back to the Guru's times, it wasn't just about the Sikh community. It was Hindus, Muslims, Jains, Buddhists, people of all faiths and none. Getting people to come and engage in community service, regardless of what your background, your faith is. And this is one of the most beautiful things I enjoy about the Gurdwara, is that it's not just for Sikhs, it's for anybody. If it's a safe space, it can be for anyone who needs that safe space. If you're hungry and you haven't ate anything, you can come in and you can just cover your head, take your shoes off, wash your hands, grab a tray, go to the counter and food will be served. And you grab that tray, sit on the floor and you take that food and you can leave. You want to donate, you can. If you believe in God, you don't believe in it, it doesn't matter. And that's one thing the Guru kind of created, that aspect of hospitality, that love, that compassion towards that, to the human spirit, to the human nature, trying to connect with that.